Hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you had a great day. Today we're going to talk a little bit about women's health in this world of duality. And I put this up because it's like when you go into these institutions, in these doctor's office, you see these ads on TV, these drug ads and everything else we're getting in this new age dystopia, right? They're always pushing all these dangerous things and they're promoting it as so great. It's like the next best thing. It's like everything's miraculous now. The claims are just too funny, right? They do not hold back. But I was inspired today because I watched this woman in her 40s who should have known better. She literally did a vid of herself, like right after a procedure, urging people to get something called an endoscopy, which is like putting a camera down your throat to go check your stomach and everything. And people think we're so different than the era of this. Women, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, this is, it goes back to like medieval torture devices. I mean, I am so thankful I got out of the game at like 30 years old when they keep trying to make you so scared, keep telling you about what pre-cancer cells. Isn't that like the double speak that they use on us? I really go into, I have a link to BitChute I'll put below, but I talk about how the doctors have replaced God, definitely, in the medical system. And if you think the medical system is not one big cult, just look at the two serpents on the pole and then look at the Baphomet statue. And then you tell me what's going on in the medical world, right, guys? I mean, really, really evil practices. Women have been going through torture methods like you wouldn't believe, okay, guys? And I put up here just a little bit about like what is the pap smear test, because we take it for granted. Like, these are really weird practices and there's really no scientific basis to do so. And it was named after, of course, this man. I love all these new age so-called strong independent ladies who have no problem being scared. It shows you what fear and misinformation can do to people. They go run to these strangers and throw their legs on those stirrups and have all kind of things inserted into them. How do people know they're not being like implanted with something? I mean, when you think about like the ramifications of what could be happening. So as someone who has experience, and after seeing that crazy video of someone I thought had a bit of sense, calls themselves spiritual, I was like, wow, they're really pushing this stuff on people. And guess what? They were in horrendous shape, guys. They were like all drugged up, looking like they got hit by not one, but two trucks. You know what I'm trying to say? Like really, really messed up. So, they try to say in the United States a pap smear screening is recommended, starting around 21 years of age. They make you think that when you come of age, it is like a form of a ritual. I mean, just, the things that they do and how they do it, when you like really look into it, really strange. So, this stuff is like really new inventions because, they're saying they really want to get in there every 6 to 12 months. And it's like, they look for any type of abnormalities, and the average person is so scared of everything. They talk about the human papillomavirus, like, okay, yeah, and it says it can be resolved 90%, but they get you scared, with these statistics. It's already been shown statistics can be skewed. It's not a reliable source of data. And especially when a lot of these statistics are pushed by the companies themselves or the industries that have these medieval torture devices and just need an industry. It's been said you don't chase an industry, you create it. So they'll create, this like panic, this fear, and people don't understand how it's still, I'm going to go into the history a little bit just to show you like who invented it. Obviously, a lot of people know of it. Of course, they go into like all these, coccoid bacteria, and it just shows that like a lot of these things are induced from the antibiotic use, and a lot of it is like normal bacteria in your body that only gets only becomes a problem, guys, if we like don't eat the right foods, if we're taking prescription drugs. You throw the microbiome off. You need to eat like live food. People don't, see that they're eating dead food and it has like no nutrition. So it became the gold standard, and of course it was invented. This is the inventions of men, madman, Dr. Frankenstein's over here. The test was invented by and named after the Greek doctor Georgios Papanikolaou, who started his research in 1923. So a lot of things were going on, especially these weird techniques, if you notice, around the world wars. Like if you look at World War I, which was a few years earlier, you start to see, oh, okay, and what happened with the Nuremberg situation and Project Paperclip, you start putting two and two together. We're supposed to use our God-given common sense. Unfortunately, people have been detached from that. And it said oral babes of Romania independently made similar discoveries in 1927. However, Babe's method was radically different from Papanikolaou's. I know I'm butchering the sound of that, so sorry. But it goes into this bacteria, and it says the finding of coccoid bacteria on a pap test is of no consequences with otherwise normal test findings and no infectious symptoms, which a lot of the bacteria they're looking for is actually like just normal bacteria, but they're doing like a reverse Jedi mind trick to people. And because they have that whole setup and they have their priestly white garb, they say it in such an emphatic manner, right, guys? All they got to do is say it enough times, get in the person's head, and they got them. So it says it's fine. However, if there's enough inflammation to obscure the detection of precancerous and cancerous processes, it may indicate with a broad-spectrum antibiotic for streptococci and anaerobic bacteria, such as, of course, these dangerous, this is a whole other trick bag, before repeating the smear. Alternatively, the test will be repeated at an earlier time than it would otherwise. If there are symptoms of vaginal discharge, bad odor, or irritation, the presence of coccoid bacteria also may indicate treatment with antibiotics or per above. Yeah, a lot of times when you get overgrown bacteria, it's from use of these drugs. And if people would see the side effects and what that can do to the body, but of course they're not going to tell you that. They just tell you this is something you have to do like a ritual. You ritually come in X amount of times per year. So what were women doing prior to that? Exactly, they didn't need that damn junk. And they try to make it like so sexy, like, oh yeah, it's so sexy because, what it is like, oh, you really should do it. This was nothing like what the girl looked like that I saw get it done. I mean, this is a complete hoax. I mean, I don't think they even putting anything inside these women, but you see the promotion. They try to make you think like you're so on top of your health, like this is what self-care looks like. No, this is self-mutilation, guys. Sorry. Fair use.
I'm off to do one of the things that every single girl, I'm sure, would love to be spending her evenings doing. I am going for a smear test.
The reason I've done this is because it's Cervical Cancer Prevention Week.
So I'm heading to the Babylon GP clinic in Canary Wharf to get mine done.
I'm going to hit you with some stats before I show you the footage.
1 in 4 British women actually skip their cervical cancer screenings, and that goes down in my age group from 25 to 29 to 1 in 3.
Studies show that a lot of people don't want to go for the reasons I didn't, because they're embarrassed. And a lot of people also believe that they don't have to go if they feel healthy. But it is very important to go to your cervical screening. And now, here I am, getting my smear test.
So I'm here with Dr. Claudia, and so can you just tell me, for the sake of everyone and myself, what is a smear test and what actually happens during it?
Sure. So a cervical smear test is where we look for pre-cancerous changes on the cervix. And the cervix is the neck of the womb. So this part is only the very front bit that goes inside. So if you can see, it's just that bit. It's not the whole thing at all. Okay.
I mean, thank God.
And then what happens is we gently press to open it a little bit so that we can find the neck of your womb, called the cervix, inside your vagina. And then we literally take this little brush, this little plastic brush, and we rotate it just against your cervix 5 times. And it can feel a little bit tickly, but it shouldn't feel uncomfortable. So if at any point when we're doing this you're in any pain or you want me to stop, let me know. But generally it's a very well tolerated, comfortable.
Yeah, it's so tolerated. This is what a modern witch looks like, guys. If you didn't know, this is a modern witch. And they love the 5-pointed star. Just think of witchcraft, and why do they got to turn it 5 times? It's a very specific number, too. But just look at that witchy face. I can't. So it's not just men who are being, you know, the abusers of mankind. You see women also. Women have been known to abuse other women. It's a very sadistic practice. Some of these nurses, right, and so-called doctors, a lot of them are also doctors now.
Procedures.
Okay, right.
So bend your knees up, your heels towards your bottom.
Yeah. This feels like yoga.
Okay, well done. And much like yoga, just imagine relaxing as much as you can. Sit. And
Okay.
deep, slow breaths in and out.
I am relaxing.
And now a little bit of pressure, so we open up. You alright?
Yeah? Yeah. Feels fine. Is it sometimes hard to find the cervix?
It is a little bit sometimes. Perfect. So we can see your cervix really nicely.
Oh, lovely.
You alright?
Yeah, all good.
And then this is where the brush goes in. Is it alright?
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a bit of a weird sensation, I guess, but it doesn't hurt. It's just a bit weird, but, you know.
And now we just pop the brush in, so this bit might feel a little bit strange. And that's it done.
It's done?
That's the end of it.
As you can probably tell from that footage, it was very quick and very chill. It's over so quickly, and now that I've been a couple of times, I honestly don't feel embarrassed. Smear tests are free on the NHS and for Babylon's GP at hand patient.
Well, they're saying Babylon, and that is very symbolic, too, that they call themselves that. But, yeah, what's the difference between all that? And I'm sorry, I gotta call bullshit, because people, women, I'm sorry, any of us who've been there, no, you at least buck a little bit, okay? Oh, and for those who say my webcam's a little distracting, well, I'm sorry, you don't have to view me if it's too distracting. You can turn away, because some people do like that, and when I'm watching videos, I like to, you know, watch people too. So when I'm showing you something, I do bring it up. But if it's too distracting, the webcam, you know, sorry, that's just my style of doing vids. If it bothers you, then just listen to me on audio. That's totally fine, because it shouldn't take away from the message, right? You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because then when you don't show your face, people are like, oh, you don't show your face, you're like scared to stand behind your message. Like, so I'm just letting people know, no, I stand behind it, and I want people to connect with me, because I like to share anecdotal stories, because I too have been a victim of this really demonic practice, which I feel that it is, because many women in the past, they did just fine, and I haven't been to these creeps since I was 30. Okay, it's been a few years now, quite a few years, right? So it's been like over 10 years, okay, and I've been doing amazing, better than ever, okay? So if they were so if what they were doing was so effective, why was I constantly getting sick? Why was I constantly being spiritually attacked? Why was I constantly getting infections going to them, right? They were always trying to, what's this pre-cancer talk? That means you don't have anything. That's like, you know, that's like being pre-debt, pre-this. that's how they're going to start throwing people in jail that are innocent. It's like, oh, thought crime. Oh, they could potentially do something. People are always talking now like hypothetical, unbelievable, because we're living in the world of duality. And if you didn't know about your body, because they get you thinking, oh, these viruses and bacteria, well, guess what? This is a great article I'll put down below, because apparently people just, even BBC News put this out, which I don't always agree with everything they say, but this is a great reference. More than half your body is not human. It's by James Gallagher. It was put up on 10 April 2018. Let's read a little bit. I'll put it up closer. More than half of your body is not human, say scientists. Human cells make up only 43% of the body's total cell count. The rest are microscopic colonists. Understanding this hidden half of ourselves, our microbiome, is rapidly transforming understanding of diseases from allergy to Parkinson's. The field is even asking questions of what it means to be human, and is leading to new innovative treatments as a result. They are essential to your health, says Professor Ruth Ley, the director of the Department of Microbiome Science at the Max Planck Institute. Your body isn't just you. No matter how well you wash, nearly every nook and cranny of your body is covered in microscopic creatures. This includes bacteria, funguses, fungi, and archaea, which I find fascinating because that's organisms originally misclassified as bacteria or archaea. The greatest concentration of this microscopic life is in the dark, murky depths of our oxygen-deprived bowels. So just think, even in your private nether regions, women, it could, there are different parts of your body that are very dark, moist, trying to keep this as PG as possible. But this is really important to know, because people are dying from lack of these substances, and they make you think, ooh, they're the enemy, when it's just like the lack of balance by our lifestyle and the type of treatments we're getting, right? Professor Rob Knight from University of California, San Diego, told the BBC, you're more microbe than you are human. Originally, it was thought our cells were outnumbered 10 to 1. That's been refined much closer to 1 to 1, so the current estimate is you're about 43% human if you're counting up all the cells, he says. But genetically, we're even more outgunned. The human genome, the full set of genetic instructions for a human being, is made up of 20,000 instructions called genes. But add all the genes in our microbiome together, and the figure comes out between 2 and 20 million microbial genes. Professor Sarkis Mazmanian, a microbiologist from Caltech, argues, we don't have just one genome. The genes of our microbiome present essentially a second genome which augment the activity of our own. What makes us human is, in my opinion, the combination of our own DNA plus the DNA of our gut microbes, see? So we're full of microbes, guys, okay? So nothing to fear. I'll put that, because it seems like we just need a little bit of a reminder, and like that torture device. I mean, this is something that we don't need. It says this thing does not need to be such a pain. And they're always trying to get in there, guys. It's violating your temple, and there's a lot of instances where girls have been taken advantage of. How do you, in some of these procedures now, they want you under anesthesia. I mean, it's totally violation, and a lot of these people are perverts. I mean, what kind of person wants that type of profession when you think about it? And this is an article from 2014. Doctors are examining your genitals for no reason. In 2010, doctors performed 62.8 million of these routine pelvic examinations on women across America. In total, gynecological screenings cost the U.S. $2.6 billion every year, and yet a new study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine reports that there is no established medical justification for the annual procedure. I really don't know what to tell people about that, you know. I was really, really disappointed in that lady because now she's pushing endoscopy. Then she's telling people you need, the whole colonoscopy. That's another thing. The trauma that these devices do to your body, they're inside your body for a reason. They're not meant to be tampered with, but, And so if you think this is not true, I'll put up the Annals of Internal Medicine. I did look up that journal, and it says, what their findings was. This is the screening pelvic examination in non-pregnant adult women recommendations from the American Colleges of Physicians. And what they say says who developed these guidelines. The American College of Physicians, ACP, developed these recommendations. Members of ACP are internists, specialists in the care of adults. What is the problem and what is known about it so far? Pelvic examination is often done to screen for disease in non-pregnant adult women who do not have symptoms. Screening means looking for a disease in people who do not have any signs or symptoms of that disease. During a pelvic examination, the patient is positioned on an examination table with her feet in stirrups. The doctor examines the external genitalia and then inserts an instrument called a speculum into the vagina to examine the vagina and cervix. Speculum examination. Next, the physician places one hand in the patient's vagina and the other on her abdomen to feel for abnormalities in the ovaries, uterus, and other pelvic organs by manual examination. Sometimes the examination includes insertion of a finger, see how gross this is, into the patient's rectum. Really, guys, if you don't see how perverse this really is when you think about it, and after reading this and seeing how it's not known to help, it will make you so mad. Sorry guys. Sometimes the examination includes insertion of a finger into the patient's rectum to check for abnormalities in the rectum or the space between the rectum and vagina. Rectal examination. The doctor may take samples from the cervix to look for cervical cancer, Papanicoleo pap smear during the pelvic examination. However, the value of pelvic examination in women who have no symptoms and do not need a pap smear is unclear. The potential benefits of pelvic examination include finding cancer, non-cancerous masses, or infection before symptoms develop. The potential harms include the patient discomfort and inconvenience caused and subjecting the patient to unnecessary follow-up and treatment if abnormalities are found that would never become an issue for the patient. It says, how did the ACP develop these recommendations? The ACP reviewed published studies about the potential benefits and harms of screening pelvic examination. Screening pelvic examination means speculum and bimanual examination in women who have no pelvic symptoms. What did the authors find? Available studies show that the yield of pelvic examination for identifying cancer or other treatable disease in non-pregnant women without symptoms is low and is not associated with improved health outcomes. However, there are many false positive findings on pelvic examination, and such findings subject patients to unnecessary worry and follow-up. Pelvic examination can cause anxiety, discomfort, pain, and embarrassment, especially in women who have had a history of sexual abuse. What does the ACP recommend that patients and doctors do? Doctors should not do screening pelvic examinations on non-pregnant adult women who do not have symptoms of possible pelvic disease. What are the cautions related to these recommendations? These recommendations only apply to non-pregnant women with no symptoms. Pelvic examination should be done if symptoms are present or if the patient is pregnant. So it tells you right there in the Annals of Internal Medicine. So I'll put that. And yeah, so that is like a little torture device, and it's really terrible. I'm going to read this little snippet for you from Amanda Hess. When a girl becomes a woman, she is initiated into a bizarre and mysterious annual ritual. She takes off her clothes, sticks her arms through a backless medical gown, reclines on an examination table, and spreads her legs. A doctor fits her feet into a pair of stirrups, looks at her genitals, sticks a gold metal speculum into her vagina, cranks it open, and peers in. When the speculum is removed, the doctor inserts a finger or two and pokes around to feel the woman's internal organs. Sometimes the fingers examine her rectum too. In 2010, doctors performed 62.8 million of these routine pelvic examinations on women across America. In total, gynecological screenings cost the U.S. $2.6 billion every year. And yet a new study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine reports that there is no established medical justification for the annual procedure. After scouring nearly 70 years of pelvic exam studies conducted from 1946 to 2014, the researchers found no evidence that they lead to any reduction in morbidity or morbidity of any condition among women. In light of the study, the American College of Physicians, a national organization of internists, have crafted a new set of guidelines warning doctors that exams conducted on otherwise symptomless women can subject patients to unnecessary worry and follow-up, and can cause anxiety, discomfort, pain, and embarrassment, especially in women who have a history of sexual abuse. Guys, that's so true, because all that pain and stress, the anxiety, can actually give you even more of a compromised immune system that will make you think you do have cancer, right? And what about that whole industry too, right? This is all to get you into the bandwagon of the cancer industry. So I'll have to read it this way to see it all. In an editorial also published in Annals, internalists George Sawaya and Vanessa Jacoby of the University of California, San Francisco, conclude that the pelvic examinations have become more of a ritual. All right, you guys got to see that, because this is something that I've been saying too. It's very controversial to say this kind of stuff to people, so they got to see that other people have been saying that. So these are actual internists, okay, of the University of California. All right, so they conclude that the pelvic examination has become more of a ritual than an evidence-based practice. There you go. Sawaya told me that the routine pelvic exam is such a foundational cornerstone. Let me go back. Of gynecology, it's hard to even trace its origins. The new report urging doctors to reverse course will be very controversial, Sawaya says. I expect a lot of physicians to raise their eyebrows. Just 2 years ago, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists admitted that no evidence supports or refutes the annual pelvic examination for the asymptomatic low-risk patient. Nevertheless, ACOG re-upped its endorsement of the exam, writing that it seems logical. The procedure, which is routinely initiated early in a woman's teen years and conducted annually, can aid in establishing the clinician-patient relationship and provide an excellent opportunity to counsel patients about maintaining a healthy lifestyle and minimizing health risks. ACOG reported, in other words, according to ACOG, while the annual pelvic exam might not be worthwhile in and of itself, it can be a useful device for bringing a woman to her doctor every year to get some necessary information about her reproductive health. These conflicting recommendations, one by internists, the other by gynecologists, speak to the effects of cultural shaming on women's health. Some women, particularly women who have been abused, can experience enough anxiety and pain from the intimate exams that they become less likely to return for the future exams. That could deter women from heading to the doctor where they do have problematic symptoms or heightened cancer risk. Furthermore, women taking birth control pills typically have to undergo an annual pelvic exam before a doctor will refill a prescription. And the reason that's so, guys, is because there is an increase, they say, in so-called cervical cancer if you take the birth control pills. So it goes to show that there is a connection of like mutations in the body and taking, inorganic substances. And again, that's a whole field all in its own, guys, because they once they get that thought in your head that you have cancer, well, now they own you and they can make so much from you, right? And what do? I mean, women, let's be real. They'll have you go in there, they'll they'll scrape they'll scrape your cervix until there's nothing left. I had this freaking 21-year-old bonehead that looked like he just got out of college trying to tell me what to do with my body and telling me to try to get me scared. It's all psychology. And so he tried to say, oh, this pre-cancer, you might have abnormal, and wanted me to come in a second time. And I'm like, if you let these people cut parts of your cervix out, you're not going to have nothing left. This is like a hacking procedure. And where do you think your DNA goes? Where do you think all that stuff, you think they just throw it out in the trash? You're like part of a science experiment. And this is really scaring me, guys, that they want the young women at such a young age, as at the age where they menstruate. I mean, you got a lot of these creepy stories that these doctors, they do a lot of these perverted things and they impregnate their patients, right? You don't know if they're putting a foreign whatever, and then, a few years later or a few months later, the kid gets pregnant or young lady and it's not from the boy. You don't know what they're doing, but they want they really want to be in that temple and making you think a certain way. And this is already a whole other topic. It's all of that just to bring you down this rabbit hole, okay? All politics. And when they give you that pre-cancer, it's like, really, when they try to use words. On this channel, I talk a lot about doublespeak, how they use words as weapons to get in your head. And once they give you whatever diagnosis, they must be God to you, because as soon as people hear whatever, you should be like, screw it. I told the guy, I'll take my chances, okay? My life is in God's hands. And guess what? I've been doing amazing. It's way more hygienic to stay away. And believe me, they are sexually assaulting you if you want to believe it or not. So I tell young girls, stay the hell away from those creeps if you can. But the cancer industry in itself goes back over 100 years. It's all about, this is very, very, this goes back to, how the medical mafia has suppressed all the pharma, all the natural cures for everything. And if anybody knows about Dr. CB, amazing man, spoke a lot of truth before he passed. He was quoted as saying, a society that keeps cures a secret so they can continue to sell medication. Yeah, it's all about treatments. It's all about this more medieval torture. And what do they have you? More surgery, then it's radiation. A lot of this stuff came from the minds of these warlords from these wars. That's where the modern medical industry got a lot of their knowledge from. Goes back to I.G. Farben. If you want to believe it or not, I'm sorry. But there are psychopaths amongst us, especially J.D. Rockefeller, who is totally one of the, founding fathers of the modern allopathy system, which is the current medical model, which is, all about, the medieval practices, if you believe it or not, And so, yeah, if you get traumatized, if you get stabbed or a bullet, yeah, you need trauma for them to sit you up. But I'm saying all these so-called preventative measures they're doing is, the freaking way that people are going to get a lot of the big C's or whatever because they're traumatized in their organs. And another quote, J.D. Rockefeller was quoted saying, competition is a sin. Yeah, to these evil bastards. Is that guy, that thing, even look human with no lips? I don't think so. But anyway, just saying, they don't want natural remedies to be they don't want these type of things known. That's why a lot of us got to talk in code nowadays. It says mankind has a natural predator, the psychopath. A lot of them call them demonic entities, archons, Anunnaki, devils, and human shells, right? And this predator is invisible because there are no easily discernible markings that set him apart. Well, some of them wear black robes, some of them wear white coats, Henry C. Some of them wear priestly garbs, right? The people in society that people look up to, right? They give all of their power to. It's a cult, right? How many people can tell you to tell someone to go on the table that they just met and put their legs up on a bunch of stirrups without getting smacked, right? I mean, really, the stuff that we let strangers do to ourselves and to our teenage daughters, I don't think so. I've been warning the people in my family if they heed the call or not my problem. I've already been warned them. Okay, to each their own, but they're going to see the hard way that they're going to get worse and worse and feel more jacked up and not understand that they're being taken advantage of. So this guy, yeah, anytime you try to cure anything, they try to come at you, and it's all about this. A lot of people already said that, the C word is just, the same organisms in your body, they just become a little sick from the toxicity, but that we all get the so-called C many times a year, and your body fights off all kind of stuff. Your body is so amazing, and there's so many natural substances that will definitely take care of these issues. And then you notice, when these people are already so toxic, they want to give you something called chemotherapy. Ooh, chemical therapy. So if your house is dirty, do you just throw more trash in your living room and you think that's going to fix it? I'm just saying, we got to start using our God-given common sense. Apparently this person needed high doses of nutritious food, sunlight. They put you in these hospitals. You don't get no sunlight. You don't get no fresh air. You don't get a damn thing. You get nothing but LED lights making you more sick. They say, the lady that was talking today saying, you need to get all these tests, if you care about yourself. She was shivering in a hospital room. She literally did a YouTube video and put that up, thinking that was going to motivate people to want to go get that. And some people in the comment section were buying into that bullshit. But it just made me want to put up a vid and say, hey, maybe, you want to think about this a different way, especially if you call yourself spiritual. But just so you know, when they give you that C diagnosis, you are suddenly worth a minimum of $300,000 to them. Okay? And if you think money has nothing to do with it, well, I'm sorry. It's time to wake up from a little slumber, right? A lot of many quotes, and people have been very honest about this stuff. I mean, I can go into it over and over again. I mean, I can't read all of this to you. This would just be too long, you know. All, you know, there's a documentary called, you know, Cancer, the Forbidden Cure. Another great one on YouTube, Eustace Mullins, Truth About Cancer and the Medical Monopoly. And, right, you know, we're ruled by psychopaths, a society that keeps cures a secret in an effort to sell medications and treatments and, you know, these stupid doctors' visits. Yeah, it's all just to pay for their crazy lifestyle and to give these sick men and women, you know, you're just getting their rocks off, you know, and with a lot of these procedures, they want you to get anesthesia, and they say every time you get this procedure with anesthesia, you're literally cutting years off your life. And look at all these things that can happen, and that people right now are dealing with long-term effects. And like, you know, this person online was like, you know, the different procedures that they were recommending people go get that were over 40, a lot of them required anesthesia, and you're like, okay, no, I don't think so, because of long-term ramifications. And is this stuff really scientific and sound? You know, because I just showed you in this journal that they told you it's not. So I'm just trying to give you a little bit of, you know, because this here, it's just no different than what you see here with this freaking disgusting medical device here. And, you know, let's not even talk about the forceps and what that does to a baby's head and brain, you know, and that cancer itself has already been shown. You know, people just don't understand the nature of it, you know, so I'll definitely have to go into that, because it is a racket in itself, you know. So I'll tell you right here how, you know, it's a $400 billion year industry. Genocide as well as the causes and prevention, the main suspects being death towers, which a lot of them call the cell towers, you know, a lot of this radiation, which you think these hospitals and all of their wonderful technological devices are not part of the same schematic. They are. And yeah, I'll have to just do a follow-up, because don't want to make this too long. We're already, you know, going to wrap this up quickly. But chemtrails, junk food, chemicals, and drugs such as pesticides, and the big V, because, you know, you get shadow banned on here. We call them vaccines. Yeah, so anytime you hear me say vaccine, of course, sugar is a big deal. And people got to look up the number for allopathic deaths. They'll tell you all you need to know. If you think the medical industry is so holier than thou and they can do no wrong, then why do almost 1 million people a year die because of their procedures, right? So root canals are awful for you. I mean, we can really go into it. And the widespread use of cancer agents, fluoridation is in our water, aspartame, of course, in so many of these processed foods, MSG. I mean, let's look at the real causes. Having somebody violate your nether regions, going into your private parts, giving them their freaking sick satisfaction, doing God knows what to you, that's not going to make you well. Get into the root causes of what can mess you up. You know, women need to drink more apple cider vinegar, eat more raw foods, balance the floral down there, get away from tampons. Tampons are horrible for you. Don't stick anything in there. Use pads. Do it the old school way. It is what it is. Those women were doing a lot better than the women today, okay? Because they weren't exposed to all this shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of them died of other things, but you notice a lot of old school women now, I mean, they do live a long time because they adhere to that. And of course they push mammograms on women, which I'll have to do another one, but they're pushing that type of crap, you know? And all these people who get the Nobel Prize, these are the freaking warmongers, okay? These are the ones actually perpetuating the crimes against humanity, right? That should be in prison on Snake Island somewhere. And his name was Dr. John Goffman. So I love how all these men invent all these interesting womanly procedures. So women need to think about that. If you think you're so strong, independent, you know, your body, your choice. Well, a lot of the stuff that people do and are being brainwashed to do systematically, ritually, are from the minds of perverted men. You know, and it says 50% of cancer was caused by unnecessary radiation. Crazy. related to X-ray studies. So actually, you know, maybe this guy actually exposed what it was. Maybe John Kaufman wasn't a bad guy. Let me see him. So right here, his quote, "The human experiments that have been done is bad, and it's good that it's being cleared away. But for 25 years, the DOE has not shown any concern for the health of Americans. Their concern has been for the health of the DOE. Their falsehoods concerning the hazards of ionizing radiation have put not thousands of people at risk, not millions of people, but billions." Oh, so he was a good one. But not to say that these, you know, we did look up the pap smear, and that did come from a European, right? It did come from a man. So yeah, because when we went back into it, so this man actually was an honest one, so that's great. But just so we remember that these do come from the minds of, you know, this guy here. So it was this Georgios, this Greek. So again, men, not even American, you know, and so all connected back to these wars, because kind of funny how they're all from those areas. University of Munich, of course, there's his connection to Germany. Always back to these German warlords, you know. And they all go to these swanky universities and stuff. That's him right there. Is he holding someone's head? Looks like he's holding a skull. Yeah, this, yeah, really creepy guy. Look at that guy. Tell me what he's holding there, because, that's freaking freaky right there. Looks like a skull to me. This is what we're trusting our health to. I'm tempted to make that the thumbnail. I'm not sure to make that or those clampers the thumbnail. But, very interesting. So that Dr. John Goffman, he exposed a lot on this topic, so that's great. And he did say how a lot of it had to do with these x-rays. Meanwhile, everyone thinks just toxic allopathy medicine such as radiation and chemotherapy is the only proven treatment for cancer, even though chemo has been well proven to be useless in most cancers, and even they only claim 5-year survival of 50% to 70% of leukemia in children, while 4 out of 5 leukemia patients still die. And surgery is their best cancer therapy, while homeopathy, nutritional medicine, herbs, hydrotherapy, hypothermia, cannabis, diet therapy, naturopathy, electronic medicine, oxygen therapy, laetrile cleansing, enzyme therapy, lymph therapy, etc., is considered quackery, as their expert like Waxman claim through the media. How's that for a perfect example of mass mind control and fascism, with just one disease and one type of drug vying for vaccination as the most lucrative and nastiest racket of the medical? I'll leave that there, because, you know, can't show too much and say too much, and it's like, the damn Calvary comes. You know, because like these ghouls think, that's why it's all about, they don't like competition. So that's where the quote comes from when they say, oh, the government doesn't like competition. It's actually, I mean, they're not the proper government. They're actually the, you know, these are private corporations, foreign corporations that we've delegated our power to, our common sense to, our mind to. When are we going to take back, you know, everyone's talking about freedom this, freedom that. People enslave themselves through fear, through thinking you need to do this stuff. And I hope that by putting up that article, by putting up that journal, I'll put the link below. It's so important for people to read for themselves. They don't give you this type of information. And I don't care if your sister goes, your mom goes. A lot of people are doing things robotically that is actually very damning to them. And I'm really shocked to see women who, I mean, the lady was like so messed up. She was all drugged up, all like incapacitated, clearly looked a mess. that this thing was mess. And in her mind, she thought she needed to do more and more. A lot of women, they get into their 40s, they start facing their mortality. Ladies, stop it, okay? I'm in my early 40s. I'm not scared of death. The Most High, you treat your body with respect. Respect God's natural law. Try to take some time to understand the vessel he gave you, you know, just like with a car, right? Just like with the car, you got to read the owner's manual so you can properly take care of it. Show that you appreciate it that way. Don't delegate your power to these, it's like children that just come out of college, right? They have all this debt and they want the most expensive procedure that they can put on you so they can pay their bills and everything else. Don't go for that. Don't listen. And, you know, any older woman who's going to, you know, give me a hard time, go ahead, put up your information, put up your sources, okay? I'm telling you my experience and I'm trying to back it up with data. And if people can't respect that, well then enjoy all the damage to your internal organs, because all this stuff goes back to medieval Europe and people think that we're so different than we were, you know, just a few centuries ago. No way. Because this is where all this stuff, this comes from the minds of like the same people that were pushing this stuff, okay? It's just in a different way, guys. Instead of like the chastity belt, they want to go in and like split you. When you think about it, it's so horrendous. It's cold. It's nasty. You feel violated when you left because you were violated in more ways than you thought. Then they want to know your personal history, the day of your last period. Very strange, guys. It's really creeping me out the more I think about it. You really need to think twice. A lot of people are being had. Deception comes in many forms. A lot of people don't want to expose it. This is not a popular topic. Sorry. You know, don't shoot the messenger. I care about people, and I'm letting you know that I don't go to these creeps anymore, and I'm doing amazing for it. I'm doing fine. I'm thriving. I'm making sure I get the right nutrition. I'm making sure I do actual good hygiene. I don't use tampons. I noticed when I was younger, when they were pushing that on us a lot, I was noticing that I was getting a lot of infections. And I know women who died of toxic shock syndrome. Very, very upsetting. You don't want to put anything in there, okay? You don't have to go to the beach if you have your period. You can take a few days off. Let everything clean out. God knew what he was doing. It's all a natural filtration system. Don't do perverted, wicked practices. Be in a monogamous relationship. Be clean. Eat live food, and you're gonna see everything's just gonna be totally fine, guys. You're not gonna have any infection. I haven't had anything years since I knocked this crap off and went to the holistic side. Okay, so yeah, we'll check back in a few years and I'll see how these women are doing who are banging up their reproductive organs. I mean, they were so crazy. They're ready to take it out, guys. And believe me, they'll take it and put it into a man so a transgender can give birth. I mean, that's where we're going in society. That's how upside down this duality, because they only want to tell you the white side. They don't want to tell you the dark side, okay? There's two sides to every coin. There's two sides, you know. You don't realize how valuable you are. That's why they ask you for your plasma. That's why they want your blood. We are the so-called human resource they want a part of. And with men, I'm sure they have their own trick bags that they do with the men, right? They try to get men to donate the sperm and everything else and get them to get the colonoscopies, which damages your colon and introduces harmful bacteria inside, right, guys? So just be careful, because we have the power to take our health back, and with a little bit of education, then you'll realize they can't control you anymore. Because when I told that kid, I'm good, I guess my life is in God's hands, he was shocked. He was like, he couldn't believe it. It's almost like he couldn't believe it. Like, I must have been the only one that like woke up, and I never looked back, guys. And I'm a million times better for it, and I'm not going to pay for that pervert, that scumbag's freaking Mercedes or whatever freaking car he was driving to compensate for his little Napoleon complex. I like how these little men who don't know a thing about women, you're gonna come and try to like put these freaking devices inside a woman. Well, shame on you, and you reap what you sow, right, guys? So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.